Let's get to the game of games that took place this past Sunday night. Last night, the New England Patriots went on the road to visit the Baltimore Ravens and got pretty beat up. Lamar Jackson was absolutely sensational, but that defense wasn't too bad itself. And for the first time, some people said, you know what, first time in many, many years, many, many ions ago, people would talk about how confused Tom Brady looked. What did the Baltimore Ravens do in your mind that stood out last night, leading to them being victorious over the New England Patriots?
Well, I think first and foremost, they understand how to play the Patriots. They've played them for a long time. Even if you go back when Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and that whole crew was there, like they've played against Tom Brady for a long time. And defensive coordinator Wink Martindale, he understands how to play Josh McDaniels, et cetera, et cetera. But I think the biggest thing they did was, Stephen, this group has a confidence now that, I mean, you can see it coming through the TV screen, and that's all coming from Lamar Jackson. He is playing at an MVP level. He's making it tough on defenses. He's changing the way that teams play the Baltimore Ravens, and he's doing an outstanding job of that, not only as a runner, but also as a passer. He made some really, really good throws. And I think right now his maturation from the guy we saw against the Los Angeles Chargers who couldn't complete a pass in the playoffs to where he is now, I think you got to give him a lot of credit. And he's making a lot of people believers, myself included, because I was not a believer. But I think if you look at the growth that he's made as a quarterback in and out of the pocket, I'm truly amazed and also truly happy for the young man, because he set out years ago saying he told his mom, I want to be a quarterback. And when schools didn't recruit him to play quarterback, he didn't look at those schools. And so you got to give him a lot of credit for his conviction, not just now, but going all the way back before he went to the University of Louisville.
Booger McFarland, when you look at Lamar Jackson today, tell me what do you see that's so different from what we saw last season, and in particular when he went against the Chargers in the postseason?
Stephen, I think it's confidence. It's amazing what having a game plan and repetitions in that game plan and confidence that someone is building a game plan around you will do for you. And I think when you watch him play, we often hear about the game slowing down for quarterbacks. I think you can break that down in the layman's terms to that you're more comfortable doing your job. So now your job all of a sudden almost becomes like a hobby, because it's so fun, because you're not overthinking. You're not, you don't have 10 or 15 things going through your head. All you're thinking about is, here's the play. I know exactly what I have to do, and here's how I have to react. And you go back to that game against the Chargers, it wasn't that way. I mean, we were all like, man, this guy only completed, 3 or 4 passes through however many quarters it was. And then you look at to where he is now, like it's unreal. And you got to give him, you got to give John Harbaugh, you got to give Greg Roman, all the people that have poured the time, the effort, and the organization to change a lot of what they do, getting the tight ends, committing to the running game, being a physical football team around him. You got to give them a lot of credit. But I just think it comes down to confidence and his ability to work at it in the offseason. There's really no secret to how Peyton Manning became Peyton Manning, how he went from 28 interceptions to a 4-time or 5-time MVP. I mean, he's won it so many times, I can't remember. It's the work in the offseason where you hone your craft, where you take a day or a week and you just work on one thing. Peyton would take an entire day and work on a ball fake. Think about that. A ball fake. He would work 6 hours on a ball fake, but that's how you perfect it. And I think Lamar Jackson has done a lot of work in the offseason, perfecting his craft, not only as a runner, because we already knew he had that, but as a passer. So it's been amazing to watch, and he is clearly right in the MVP conversation. I would lean a little bit toward Russell Wilson right now, because I think we've underappreciated Russell Wilson for a long, long time.
Right.
Deshaun Watson is doing it at a high level. Patrick Mahomes, although he's missed the last 2 games, we'll see where he is when he comes back. And then Christian McCaffrey, he's on pace to have a record-setting year with yards from scrimmage.
Booger McFarland right here with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Tell me what you saw from the Patriots, though, because the way they looked offensively, the way Tom Brady looked confused and what have you, Bill Belichick seemed to have a level of urgency to his coaching demeanor when you consider what was transpiring early in the game and they were down 14-0. What about all of that? Talk to me about that for a second.
Well, the Patriots have a formula of how they win. They're going to out-execute you. They're going to make very, very few mistakes because they realize this. You know, Stephen, more games in the NFL are lost than won. And last night, I think if you would ask the Patriots, they lost the game. The fumble, return for a touchdown, that's a mistake. Offsides, where the Baltimore Ravens were about to kick a field goal and gave them a first down, and that turned into a touchdown. So I just think when you look at the mistakes, and this is taking nothing away from the Ravens, because if you ask the Ravens, they caused those mistakes. I'm just giving you the perspective of the Patriots. If you ask the Patriots, they lost the game by mistakes that they made, and they typically don't make those mistakes. And so I think, you know, for Bill Belichick, for this team to have one loss midway through the season, still so much room to grow, and now you can go back and you can teach off of that. I think somewhere inside of Bill Belichick, he's not too concerned about last night.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.